How's it going, Crest here? We're gonna jack off today.
That's good.
So what I want to talk about was just growth and capitalizing on it. Because
Are we starting? Is this the start?
I don't know what the fuck.
in like a second, all right?
But what do you want me to say? I play shitty games, and they do well.
All right, Weasel. You remember when we talked about Fallout 4?
Yeah, no, I remember. I was just saying.
This is like
start
sort of a part 2. I was thinking.
Okay.
Because a lot of people,
I have no idea what I was referencing to in part 1, so I assume you're doing that job.
And I don't watch your podcast, so I don't know.
All right, me neither. But what I was going to say is that a lot of people get growth but don't know what to do with it, and they just sort of plateau, like me. So this is sort of a discussion about that. All right?
Okay, cool.
All right, cool.
Got it.
Cool.
Are you going to ask us questions, or are we just going to ramble?
It'll be rambling for an hour.
An hour? I'm not good at rambling, guys.
I'll try my best. We could use one more person.
This is why we need more people, Chris. I love how we're stressing out Chris before the podcast.
I don't know what to say.
You fucking
I think we'll be fine.
Okay.
All right, so if you're all ready.
Yes.
All right.
Good.
I'm good. We can do this.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the YouTube Shop Talk podcast, where we don't have yet an official name yet. I am joined by Weasel.
Still not a name.
Weasel.
I'm here.
Okay, good. And Draegast. All right.
Hi.
So
I'm very sorry. I'm not drunk.
I'm not drunk either. I'm sorry.
And I'm not either. So
should we get drunk? I think that would be a little bit more. Okay.
So these two people I've known for a few years now, I would think.
Yes. Too many.
And we were gonna have C-Top on, but unfortunately he wasn't able to record tonight.
He's taking pictures.
Yes. And these two people and their channels have grown tremendously. One, almost famously so in our friend circle. You were at, what was it, like 8,000 subscribers in January of last year.
December, yeah.
And where are you now?
670,000.
Yeah.
It's been a pretty good year.
And Weasel, you haven't exploded quite as much as that, but you've done pretty well, right?
Yeah, I had a few bursts. 3 bursts now. I'm pretty much on the 3rd one, yeah.
Bursting on the scene.
And I want to have C-Top on because he was at basically my size in January of this year. And he's at like 65 or maybe 70,000 subscribers now.
Something like that.
Yeah. So he's done tremendously well. But one thing that, if listeners to this referred back to the video where we talked about Fallout 4 before it released, we talked about finding ways to grow your channel. And what I want to talk about today with these two people were ways to make sure that you continue to exploit and take advantage of that growth. Because it's one thing to find growth and then do nothing with it. Having strategies and the mindset for growing properly and continuing to grow is very important. So that's what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, and I think Weasel would agree with me. The biggest thing is to never get comfortable. Always try and look for the next trend.
Oh, yes.
And even if you're on top of the world and you're doing something really well, don't just focus on that one game, because everything ends, even Minecraft, even the big ones.
Oh, they're realizing that
now.
You
gotta constantly, yeah, exactly. I mean, look at Yogg's cast now. Anyways. Yeah, just basically always looking, never being comfortable, which is the sad reality, but YouTube is a stressful thing. And you're always looking for the next trend. Well, or at least I am. And I think that's...
Most people are.
Really, yeah.
Well, what I could add to the whole thing is that you are in a weird situation when you grow. Let's say you found a game, it does really well. Let's take Simple Planes, for example, which is a game that I grew quite a bit recently. And let's say you're riding the hype train. You're riding on a lot of subs, a lot of new subscribers that come from this game, and you're kind of tempted to I'm just going to do more Simple Planes, more Simple Planes, which is easier with a game like Simple Planes over, let's say, Five Nights at Freddy's, because there is a lot of user-generated content.
Yeah.
But eventually
you can always get episodes out.
you're eventually gonna get bored of it. You're gonna like run into a wall, and your subscribers, they're also gonna lose interest. Nobody wants. I mean, there's people out there that want to watch the same game over and over again, but this is basically how you generate a user base that comes for one game and doesn't want to see anything else. And as soon as you try to switch,
Exactly.
You're gonna have a hard time.
Mm-hmm. And I think there's also like a good balance with that. One thing I struggle with is I do a couple videos and then I move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
And then usually it seems like my stuff takes a while to gain traction. Like my scrap mechanic, I think it's partially the videos that we all did together, but those are doing really well, thousands and thousands of views. And I've been trying to think of what to do now because it's been a couple weeks since I posted those.
Mm-hmm.
But people are looking for other scrap mechanic content. And that's the case for a lot of games that I do. And it's finding a balance between doing enough and not doing way too much.
Yeah, there's a fine line. I mean, obviously you want to keep your loyal fans happy. You want to keep doing the old things. I mean, I've been doing Besiege for over a year now, just because it's still doing as good as it did day one almost.
Mm-hmm.
But you also don't want to be stuck with one game. So you got to acknowledge that you still got to be looking for the new things, still got to be looking around. And if you do want to have a stable, consistent, long channel, you constantly got to be looking for the new big thing before anyone else gets on it.
Right.
And that's another big thing is being early into the content is extremely important in my opinion. I don't know if you guys have found that as well.
Oh, yes.
Probably one of the most
does
important.
Help.
Yeah.
It does help. It's not the only thing, though.
Yeah. No, it's not at all. I mean, there's a lot of games that I've played where I came in a month late and I still, did really well with them.
I mean, this comes up a lot, but, content still means something. You can't make shit content but early and expect to have a good channel. You still have to have good content. That's sort of, in any strategy on YouTube, the number one thing that is unquestionable is have good content. It's all about the strategies of when and how to make that content and publishing it and distributing it and make sure you market it.
Yeah.
That really is sort of what a lot of these discussions are revolving around.
Especially if you're doing a very successful game. If you're, let's say you've been doing your same series over and over again, all of a sudden you're riding the train, you're going to have a lot of eyes on you, very many new eyes. You're going to have a lot of traffic in there, and you want to make sure that now the content, let's take Stranded Deep. Now you want to make sure that Stranded Deep, that your content looks really good. Like if you don't engage with the people in the first few seconds, like new eyes that are hyped for the game, you can now take a lot of subscribers from that. You can gain a lot of them, but you got to make sure that you make good content with that, as stupid as that sounds. Like just churning out like just the exactly same thing is not going to get you anywhere. You have to keep it fresh. I mean,
yeah, and I think at the end of the day, honestly, it is YouTube. It comes down to a lot of luck as well. There's a lot of things that I do that don't work out, and I just move on. I think a lot of us do that. We test the waters, and if you know you're really not growing, just don't waste your time. I mean, if you want to take this as a career, or if you want to take this seriously, you can't do exactly what you enjoy doing. I mean, obviously you got to enjoy what you're playing, but I don't always choose what I want to play mostly. I'm usually playing things that I enjoy, but not my top picks.
Mm-hmm. Now, I remember Stranded Deep was quite a roller coaster.
I think, it was for both me and Weasel. That was kind of the startup.
And I remember one major issue, correct me if I'm wrong, but was that people were constantly looking for more Stranded Deep, so you obliged. But also there wasn't enough content coming out for it, so you would be doing repeat stuff.
Yeah.
So that was a struggle you were dealing with quite a lot, right? Was finding new ways to do the same thing with the same content.
Yeah, I mean, me and Weasel dabbed into like modding Stranded Deep before, and there was even mods for it. Weasel helped me a lot with that. That got a lot of views. That really was initially my major growth. But you just got to find things people would be interested in. I mean, if you see a 200-300 foot shark on a thumbnail, obviously people are going to click that.
Yeah. Obviously, we have general ideas of how to grow, and that's, from what we've discussed so far, that sort of feels like a very general sort of strategy in terms of what content to do. But is there anything that you've noticed as far as how you make the content that you feel is beneficial to keeping sort of growth going? Like, besides SEO?
Edit, more editing. Just highlights are really the thing that are doing well these days. I don't think, the generic, let's just turn on the camera, record for 30, 40 minutes is doing as well as it used to do. A lot of the younger generation, like ever since I've grown, I think I started my average demographic was like 30 last year, and now it's like 16.
Mm-hmm.
And the younger and younger you get, the more constant entertainment they want. So I think I had to change a lot of how I do my things just to cater to my audience, doing all these highlights and whatnot. It's a lot harder to do, but currently it's what does well on YouTube, in my opinion.
I mean, that depends on where you want to go with it. You got to be aware that when you do highlights, when you do like highly edited content with a lot of funny moments, which are great for growth on YouTube because they're easily shared, you just watch them, you get a lot of laughs out of that. I mean, who wouldn't want to watch that?
Yeah.
But you got to remember, you're going to attract a certain audience that then also expects certain kind of content. That's a mistake that I kind of made. That's the thing that I fell into when I did Stranded Deep. I had these like really short edited videos, and I spent like the time editing. Everything was edited, and then once it like went down a little bit for me, and I didn't do Stranded Deep anymore, I kind of like went back in, and that was a mistake. Went back into unedited Let's Plays that I did before of like strategy games or business games, and I still like to do them every once in a while.
Yeah.
But I've switched. I basically had a big growth on highly edited funny moments. And then switched back to a different style of video. And yes, my channel, like the growth really halted pretty hard. It kind of spiraled out of there. Like the growth went down. I did something else because I didn't feel like playing that game anymore and editing so hard. So the growth went down further and further. So you got to be aware that when you grow on something, you got to keep in mind it doesn't need to be exactly the same game. Nobody's saying you need to exactly play that game, but you need to keep like the style at least somewhat consistent. And if you do a different style as well, then have both on your channel. Like if you have a long-running series, do a long-running series where you don't cut a lot, but also still have your funny stuff so you don't lose those subscribers.
Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, the biggest thing about YouTube is enjoying yourself, having fun, because that will show in your content. If you don't like doing a lot of editing, like I know I get sick of it every now and then. If you don't like doing
that's why you're not
moments, growing. Yeah, I know, right? Then don't. It's not like there's one surefire way to do well on YouTube. There's many different gaming YouTubers out there that do it many different ways. There's not, some set in stone strategy. There's just some strategies that are quicker for growth.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Regardless of what people tell you about YouTube or about life or about like the global market or something, not everyone's going to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Not everyone's going to be rich. And if you've been doing YouTube, this is probably a whole nother discussion, but if you've been doing YouTube for a while and you're not growing, it's either you're doing it wrong and you're not adapting, or you just haven't had your break yet, because having that break is really important. Now, that doesn't mean do like 20 videos a day.
Yeah.
4 or 5 years and then being like, well, YouTube's busted. So there is, do what you can to grow, but it may not happen for everybody. And for some people, they found success. I mean, Draegast, you've been doing YouTube for like 4 years, and it was only until like the beginning of last year that it finally started picking up.
Yeah, it's funny because I was always the guy that everyone was passing. I was, the small channel that didn't really grow or do anything. And it's not because I don't think I had bad content. I just didn't find my groove early on. I was trying to be Total Biscuit for a time being. I was trying to be a review channel. I went to indie game spotlights. I did a lot of different things on my channel to really get comfortable with what I'm doing now. And obviously, some people do it much quicker than others, and you can find your groove quickly. But as long as you're persistent and you don't give up and you really truly have a passion for what you're doing, I think anyone can do YouTube. You just got to constantly change and figure out what does well.
And I noticed that in your particular channel, because I think what Weasel was sort of touching on this, was that, sure, eventually Stranded Deep will run out of content, but think about the type of this sort of podcast show is focusing mainly on YouTube gaming channels and sort of the behind the scenes sort of things with it. But it doesn't matter if you're playing games or you're doing other content, figure out the style and the type of interest that people have in your stuff. For the case of Draegast, for a while, it was a lot of survival games. So you may be done with Stranded Deep, but there may be this new survival game that comes out that there's a huge amount of crossover, and you can continue making survival type content with the same audience.
Yeah. And I also immediately, when I started growing on Stranded Deep, I knew I didn't want to just do survival games. I actually, even against my fans, I pushed new content on them because I wanted to be a multi-genre channel. I wanted to do whatever the hell I want to do and still do well on it. I wanted to be a channel where people subscribed because of my personality and not so much a game I'm playing. And I think knowing that early on was my best thing. I didn't just focus on, I could have done Stranded Deep every day, and I didn't. And just constantly trying to find the new thing is really the biggest thing I can tell people to do. Don't never get comfortable. Yeah. If you do want to grow very, very rapidly.
At a certain point, you also you don't grow necessarily anymore. You will have views.
Yeah.
For example, 60 Seconds is a good example of that. 60 Seconds was a game that's probably where I grew like 80,000 in 3 months or so. That was the biggest growth so far. It was really big. And I still, to this day, I still don't fully understand how 60 Seconds got as popular as it did. I mean, it's a fun game, don't get me wrong, but people watch like 63 episodes each half an hour, and they were not edited, like something completely weird. But what I started doing is I started doing challenges, like just to make weird stuff, like have only do a certain thing. It got really weird, and then I let users interact with it, like just to like hold on to that growth. But the growth went away, but the views stayed the same because you have now a lot of subscribers that expect the content, but no one new coming in. So you're kind of stopping to grow. You will have we have more views, and you will make some more money, which is a nice effect, but you're not going to grow even though you have a lot of views, and that's very deceptive. I want to say. I think
we've discussed in our chats occasionally, but I think Northernlion's a great sort of example of that because he knows his content, and his audience knows his content, and they all come for it every single day. Yeah. And he's found his market, and there's no, like in his case, it doesn't, if you're looking at it from the outside, it doesn't, from his perspective, it doesn't make sense to change because he's doing really well.
No, yeah, I actually
even if
spoke
he's not
to them
growing.
about this.
Everyone thinks about, I have to grow. But if you found what works for you and you're comfortable with it and it's sustainable, I mean, he's done like 5,000 Binding of Isaac
and that's exactly what he actually said to me because I talked to him about it. And he's like, if I want to, I could go play the next big game and try and trend into that game as well. But I'm happy where I am. And it's the smart thing to do because he's got the most unique channel, in my opinion, around. Yes. It's got such a loyal fan base, and he's been playing the same thing for, 3-4 years now?
It's crazy.
Constantly. And it's just, if you ever want to follow a channel, I suggest you follow Northernlion because he knows what he's doing. Regardless of his size, he's not, 10 million like Markiplier or anything, but he gets consistent views. He gets paid every month. He's getting like 10, 15 million views a month for like the last 2-3 years. It's crazy. And yeah, I just think he's really one of the best channels out there to truly understand how to do this well, in my opinion, for longevity.
Yeah, and in a sense, it's almost the polar opposite of what this is about. Or
yeah, in reality, yeah.
He's very unique, though. I mean, it is really hard to pull off. If you are early on the game, you have that growth, you have the interest and that fan base for that game, and you can keep it rolling. I mean, power to you, but I wouldn't bet on it. I would never. This is like, I don't think I know another channel that follows a game that religiously and like that consistently for years. You got to also remember, you got to play that game for that long. You got to really, really love that game to be able to play it that long. Otherwise, you will start hating yourself and getting frustrated. I'm really impressed. He's basically the prime example of perseverance and showing off like YouTube is a ton of work. I mean, yes. It doesn't matter if it's a game or not. If you do something for 3 years every single day, it's a job. You don't play the game because there's something new in there. It's still a job. And I think, like they both mentioned, he's very unique. Obviously he's unique, but his channel as like a closed system is so unique because a lot of the stuff that we talk about as far as growth is relating to usually it's search or suggested videos. Yes. There's subscriber. Basically, you can
you can probably divvy it up into like 3 different categories or 4 different categories. You have traffic from subscribers, search, suggested, and then viral, like shared stuff.
Yeah.
Getting viral traffic is extremely random, and usually companies have to dump like $50 million into a video to get it viral by forcing advertising. Suggested, sort of, having good metadata helps and stuff. Search is where, both, all of us really grow, because that's new viewers, people are searching for stuff, and if you get to the high parts of the rank, that's where it's at as far as a lot of your income, really, I would imagine, right? Search?
Suggested is also a big part, because, that's what you see a lot of people do. That's what I do. Every YouTuber to a degree does. If big YouTubers pick up a game, or if a game has currently a lot of hype, you're gonna have a lot of people roaming around and saying like, oh, I watched this funny video of this game. Oh, that person only made 2 videos. Well, I want to see more of that game. So they start searching, or they're gonna look in the sidebar where there are gonna be suggestions. You want to look on other people that played. You want to see what are they doing, and maybe tap into that traffic. There's nothing wrong with that. As Dre knows, YouTube is a competition, and you kind of you got to look at your competitors, just like with every other market, to say, oh, I'm going to ignore what everyone else is doing on YouTube because because I'm a unique snowflake. That's nice. But if you want to grow, you got to look what's happening on the market right now, and the market are the views, are the videos, and the YouTubers. And then you got to see, okay, people really dig this stuff right now. Maybe I should, try that. There's nothing wrong with that.
And I don't think the general audience really understands how much research goes into most channels. I spend a good 2 hours every day researching new games, potential games, playing games to see if they're good or not, because I like to be first at market. That's really what I try and do. There's a lot of people that are a hell of a lot better than me now, but
yeah, I think that's their biggest thing, honestly. I've been watching Dre grow. I've been with Dre on YouTube, and we've been talking since we were both small. And I've been watching Dre, and Dre has the capability of seeing a fun game and saying like, oh, this is gonna do well. And sometimes I see games and they're like, hey, that I wish I would have seen that. And you can find those games if you look for them hard enough, like the Bear Simulator.
That one.
Yeah, that's a good example.
Human Fall Flat, nobody's playing it right now, and I can tell this is going to be the next big game, or a very big game. So
I'm going to write that down. Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead. I played it today. It's really fun. It's actually made by the same people as what was that thing called? Oh my god. Well, I can't think of the name. So
Grand Theft Auto?
No, it's the fighting one with the little characters. Oh my god. Never mind. Don't worry about it.
Game Beasts?
Yes, thank you. It's made by those people.
I don't know how I got that.
I don't know either, because obviously I wasn't very good at explaining it.
Yeah, so
no, this looks good. Yeah,
this has come up. This happens all the time, where I think about when people say, I wish I could spend all day playing video games. Playing video games is like maybe 5% of the time running a gaming channel. A gaming channel, you're spending maybe 5% of the time playing games.
Yeah.
And ultimately, it depends on the channels. There's channels that do like 8 videos a day.
True, yeah.
But if you are editing and doing all that stuff, you really aren't gaming that often. I wish I had time to game and just game for enjoyment, but I truly don't anymore.
Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to go back a little bit when I was talking about those 4 separate categories. And I agree with everything that Weasel and Draegast said. But the last part that I want to talk about was the subscriber traffic. And I think so the other 3 are basically, that's how you grow. You don't grow by your subscribers viewing you.
Yeah.
That's kind of vague, but basically Northern Lion is in such a strange position where I would imagine the vast majority of his views are his subscribers.
And they just keep coming
back. Which is almost, in my experience, never the case. I would imagine a lot of it for you guys is share traffic, search traffic, and suggested traffic. Not, obviously you guys have a lot of subscribers and they're contributing views, but for your month of traffic, I assume a lot of it's those 3.
Yeah, for sure.
Subscribers are where you're gonna get your steady. Your subscribers are facilitating you to rank better. Your subscribers are going to bring in a more steady income because they're gonna be the people that. First of all, they're gonna be the people that watch your video first. Like it doesn't matter how big you are, how small you are. When you publish a video, it's gonna appear the first thing in the sub box. And
yeah, statistically. It's them.
This is statistically it is them. So they're gonna help you grow. They're gonna help you rank because a video will rank based on watch time, engagement, and other factors. So they're gonna help you grow. A video that has no views and has no comments on it has a really hard time ranking. It's not gonna go anywhere. Yeah, it's not gonna go anywhere. So, but everyone was at that point, and that is where you need the search traffic. That's where you need a lot of search traffic. That's why you see a lot of big YouTubers try weird things, and they can totally get away with it. They can do a video of anything, pretty much, of any game that they want.
Markiplier's meow video with the cats.
That thing went viral.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely viral. And it has nothing to do with gaming, but all of his subscribers, they pushed that video, and all of a sudden it was one of the most watched cat videos. Jacksepticeye played, what was it, Papers, Please recently, or still playing it. I don't know.
Which is not a new game. But his subscribers drove that.
It is over a year old, and now all of a sudden all of the people are picking it back up. It doesn't matter.
And that's the thing. People don't realize how important one YouTuber is. Like, now I'm getting all these comments. Please play Papers, please. Please play Papers, please. Well, I've already freaking played it. Go check it 2 years back.
And I don't have a very large channel, but I can, when a video that had decent rankings, like Receiver is probably my most popular as far as ranking goes, whenever that is suddenly in my top 10, I know that either it was on sale or a big YouTuber played it. Yeah. And when it's on sale or a big YouTuber played it, it can suddenly go from getting, 20 views a month to making up about 15% of my monthly income.
Yeah.
No, yeah, like when Jack plays
Granted,
something
I have
that
a small
play,
sample size, but still.
Same thing I'm saying though. When Jack or Markiplier or PewDiePie or anyone plays something that I play, you immediately see, that big spike in views because it brings in new traffic.
And that also, for anyone who's doing any sort of YouTube stuff, go download and read the YouTube playbook. That should always be reminded of people to read it, once a quarter or something, because it is updated. I think it's on version 4. But speaking about that, there's something called tentpole events, which is also a very good way to grow. And this deals with mainly search, but also suggested, where you say, I think both of you guys did this heavily on or before Valentine's Day. You look for those games about romance or dating or whatever.
I didn't actually, but I think we
really. Well, I think you've done that last year.
I did in the past, yes, but not this time.
But examples like that where you may, let's say it's the 10th of February or something. It's the 14th, right? And you play a bunch of these, even if they're old or completely unpopular. The point is that you're playing stuff that is relevant to an upcoming event. You get, if you post it a day or two before the big date, this could be Christmas or Halloween. It could be the Oscars, or it could be any sort of event. And you can get traffic and growth and subscribers and views and all that sort of stuff by just timing it. If you posted a video about a dating game in August, it might get, 200 views. If you do it February 10th, it might do a lot better because people are searching for that, and then the
Christmas
algorithms
games
are doing their thing.
Christmas games. I mean, it's the best
Christmas
example of Christmas games.
The thing that bothers me about Christmas games is there's no good ones out there. So we're still playing, Visaria, whatever, clean up, whatever that game was where you're cleaning up Santa's shop, and then that stupid shopping simulator. That is a fun game though. I gotta be honest, that game's fun. Any other Christmas game that I played, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Well, that's where a lot of what do you say? That's where creativity comes in, and a lot of work to make games like that look fun. Yeah. Damn it, I forgot. I'll come back with my thought eventually.
So YouTube playbook, read it. That should be a given. But tentpole, that relates to it's sort of in the same vein as these really big YouTubers playing games, because basically a big YouTuber playing the same game that you did, or the same doing the same type of content maybe, is almost as good as there being a holiday dedicated to that game.
Oh, for sure.
When PewDiePie plays some random game on a Flash site, which I haven't watched him in a while. I don't know if he still does that, but that can give a small channel like a 5,000% growth in a month. I mean, it's that powerful.
It is really big, yes.
Yeah, no.
But you got to be careful to not just copy everything. I mean, yes, you can achieve growth if you want to, like...
Well, not necessarily copying. I mean, if you're in the market early and PewDiePie plays it, then that's the biggest growth you're going to get.
A lot of people accuse someone of copying, even if let's not go into the copying thing, but I'm saying... let's say mimicking. It's hard to know what to play, and you're probably, if you're a creator, you have a few YouTubers you follow, and chances are you are interested in the games that they are interested in because that's how you found them probably. And there's nothing wrong with also getting into a game that a bigger YouTuber gets into, but you got to be careful to not really like replicate one to one. By the way, I'm just going to be right back. I have to grab the bird because he's squeaking.
What I was going to say was that, I mean, you don't want to come off as copying. I mean, you can, if it works. I mean, you can judge on sort of ethics in that, but you can, like, because the theme of this is about capitalizing on growth and knowing how to handle growth instead of just, oh my God, this video is doing really well, I'm going to watch it happen. You want to make sure that you have a plan in place for what happens when a video goes viral or it gets a lot of search traffic from a big YouTuber. And if a big YouTuber plays something like Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, even Matt Shea, I think he has a bit of an influence. And PewDiePie, even if you're earlier than them, you should have some ideas in place for if this video does really well, am I really going to want to play more of it? I think that should be kept in mind. It doesn't have to be you going after it goes popular. But if a big popular YouTuber plays and publishes a video on whatever you've done something on, keep in mind, if that happens, how would you be sure to capitalize on? Make sure you use cards and annotations and, be active in the comments to bring people in and to capitalize on that traffic.
You got to grab a game, as Dre said. I'm bringing things back that Dre says because they're universal, is like saying grabbing a game early. And that also means playing, like looking as Dre does, like searching for games on Steam, looking in the top new releases, because chances are, if there's a good game, if you're able to find that spotted game, that game that came out just now and has been anticipated or goes under the radar, happens all the time that great games go under the radar and then explode because a few YouTubers pick it up, and then more YouTubers pick it up, and then all of a sudden it gets all of this attention. So if you are early on a game, if you like look for good games, and that means also playing smaller indie games that nobody heard of, then you have a chance to like grow with that because you have already a good ranking because you did it earlier, and then you get suggested because you have all of a sudden content out for a game that is now kind of hyped. So you gotta be early on that, and that means like doing a YouTube video is similar to the App Store where you do an app. You can only do so much, but you gotta be there at the right time. And doing an app or doing a video is like buying a lottery ticket to a degree. It's like a scratch-off ticket. And sometimes it will just fail flat. Sometimes you're gonna make $1 or $2 back, but every once in a while you hit like $50 or the $1,000.
And that's when you got to cash in. You got to keep going. You got to push the content out. You got to have a plan. But yeah, like Weasel said, there's more games on my channel don't do well than do well. But the thing is, I get rid of them when they're not doing well because I treat this like a business. I intentionally don't look for story-driven games because it's easy to end a game that isn't a story-driven game. So constantly looking for these new games. I almost wish C-Top was here because in my opinion, he's one of the best channels out there for finding new, unique games.
Yeah, that's why I wanted him on.
Yeah.
Fuck photos.
Yes, exactly. But it's just... I don't know where I was going with this.
That's okay. But while we're talking about growth, and I think that's an important thing to mention too, how to handle growth, you have to also handle it mentally, which is a big, big thing. YouTube is a big mental game that people don't realize. I think the most exhausting part about YouTube is not only the work you put in, but is like the emotional stress that comes with it. Because let's imagine
you're never comfortable.
First of all, never get comfortable. But imagine all of a sudden you have this big influx of people. You're going to be psyched. You're going to be hyped. Yeah. You're going to like start pushing content like, oh, this is great. And you're going to do more of the game. You're going to enjoy it. You're going to have fun.
and then it's
can
gonna
go down.
die, and
then it's gonna die.
And then you're depressed, and you're trying to make funny videos, and it's
Yeah,
way more mental than people think.
Yeah. And you don't know, sometimes you don't know why something dies off. Sometimes just the interest dies off. Sometimes just they lose interest, or YouTube algorithm decides to not rank you anymore or something like that. And your views go down. That's normal. You will have a bigger baseline because you have more subscribers. So you still have grown, but it feels like you always compare yourself to the best. So I know that's not what you're aiming for, Crest, when you said like how to capitalize on growth, but it's important to keep in mind too, because
all that stuff's important.
Yeah, this is gonna gnaw on your soul.
Yeah,
Yes.
I mean, there is also, capitalizing on growth is being mentally prepared, because, I talk about this story all the time, but for those who basically just joined my channel, I had a previous channel, and one video went super fucking viral. I did a video on Minecraft. It's at about 2.5 million views right now. And that was in 2010. And Notch posted the video on his blog and said, "This is awesome." And I remember I was sitting on a computer at college and I was reading the comments on my video, and I was getting like 2 emails a second of all the comments and subscribers. And I was losing my mind. And it was it's a combination of elation, like, I can't even contain my excitement, and oh my God, suddenly all these people are now watching me.
And then all that pressure is on you.
Yeah, you have to make sure that you're mentally prepared to deliver that. Now, like we were talking about, a lot of us have done this for like half a decade.
Give or take.
In my case, I've been uploading since 2006, but not actively. And, obviously be prepared, but, be prepared, but it may be 4 years before.
Be prepared, but be prepared to wait.
Yeah, be prepared for success and be prepared to not have success. As sad as that is, there's loads of channels that just give up, 6 months into uploading videos wondering why they're not growing. It happens.
Yeah.
It doesn't get easier, though. It does not get easier. That's the silly part. You think, okay, you work a lot. The only thing that is the, let's say, redeeming factor. I don't want to say redeeming factor because I do have fun doing it on its own, but the money is the thing that gives you more time to work on it. That's kind of what makes it easier. But creating the content just gets harder because, you will get into a groove. You will figure out what you're going to do, but you want to get better and better and better. You don't want to do the same stuff over and over.
Not only that. Like, you guys got to realize, it's 2016 now. YouTube is just full of content now. You're competing with so many more people than 2015, 2014, 2013. It's getting harder and harder, and you got to up your game to come to, beat the new guys that are coming in, bringing something new and unique.
I see people with 300, 400, 500 subscribers. Some people that I added to our YouTube chat that from the get-go, like, you got to remember, when I started, my videos were horrible. Like, headset mic. Like, everyone starts off at a low level usually, unless they are already somehow involved in video editing or have otherwise experience. But everyone starts off kind of meh.
Yeah, regardless of whatever you read, everyone starts at 0 views and 0 subscribers. I don't care what
zero
you
experience.
think. PewDiePie started at 0 subscribers.
Yeah, and his videos were
Draegast started
atrocious.
at 0. I started at 0. Weasel started at 0.
Yeah.
I had 3 channels start at 0. Like, some people have a better time than others, but everyone starts from the bottom.
And I think your biggest thing is, I think the biggest thing, well, it's just kind of off topic, but just, it's really hard not to compare yourself to other channels that are doing extremely well, but you can't really do that to yourself or you'll kill yourself.
Yeah.
There's always going to be so many channels doing way better than you, and you have to, more be proud of them, look at them, analyze what they're doing right, and try and bring that to your channel in your own unique way. It's just the biggest thing. YouTube's stressful. That's all. I'm done.
Yeah, that's fine. I can say that as well, that even if you grow with friends and you see their growth, sometimes friends will surpass you. It's always good to have like a support group in YouTube, to have people to talk to, because your other friends will think you're crazy and not listen to you and abandon you. I don't know. But it's always good to keep in mind, or at least try to establish the mindset of like, someone else is growing, maybe even he's playing the same games, but he's growing better. Like as Dre said, not get upset, just like analyze what are they doing differently and be happy for them, which is harder than it seems. Like I'm not a jealous person by nature. I'm not envious, but I had moments where I look at people's growth and I'm just like I didn't understand it. Like I didn't understand, or I got like salty somehow.
What am I doing wrong? You know?
Yeah, well, exactly. What you feel it's like your fault.
You're always
it's
comparing
not.
yourself. Yeah, it's YouTube. It's random, and things happen that you can't really explain. I mean, there was a time when Matt, Shay, and Weasel both passed me, by a lot. You guys were at like 20,000. I was at 12, 15, 14, something like that. Yeah. And then I flew by Weasel, and I caught up to Matt, and it's just like you can't let those grudges ruin friendships. You just gotta, suck it up and understand that everyone gets lucky after a certain amount of time, and then your time will come as well. Unless you're making shit, and then you're
it's important to mention that, as you said, like never get comfortable doesn't only mean like play other games. It also means constantly looking at your own content. Like the setup that I have now, mic setup like changes every 2 months. My mic setup, my video setup changes. I try new things.
Yeah,
because I improve my content, because you can only do so much. You can produce content, but you're basically the component that you try to have to work and improve on. Your commentary, your quality, and if you don't improve your quality, you're not going anywhere. If you have a shitty mic setup, if you have a really bad quality, you can still get views.
These are the things you should be buying right away. And the first paycheck you get where you can afford a better mic, buy one, because it's going to help your channel so much.
Yes,
getting all the hardware that you need.
Take that growth and buy the setup stuff you need. Don't get anything ridiculous. You don't need a baby blue bottle right away. But
shut up.
I'm just making
I have it in my car.
You don't need that $2,000 microphone. You just need a good microphone. You need a good webcam, and then try to improve. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, like my first real paycheck, I went out and bought a Blue Snowball, which is not a great mic, but it's definitely better than a headset mic. And that's the kind of stuff you got to do. You just got to consistently upgrade as your channel is upgrading.
Yeah.
And with that, I mean, at least in the video production sort of film area, audio is the most important thing. Your video literally can look like shit. But if the audio is good, it doesn't matter. Because audio, like at least from the video production side of things, when DSLRs were super popular for video, people didn't buy microphones for them. And they have this little tiny hole in it, and it's some cheap piezoelectric, little dynamic mic in it that's omnidirectional. And even when I film, like recently I filmed a little sort of vlog thing for a piece of hardware, and I was recording it, through my nice microphone, but also on the camera so I could sync stuff up. And when I switch in between those microphones, it's insane. And it's not even from the perspective of, okay, I'm watching this video and it sounds bad, so it looks like it doesn't care. That's part of it, but also a lot of times it's hard to understand someone.
Yeah.
And if you want to make it as pleasurable an experience to watch someone's video as possible, I feel.
That's why I love Critical.
Yeah.
I don't watch for the gameplay, and I don't watch. He has like filmed screens before, but his voice and microphone have always been like pleasure, like to me, like in my ears. It's just like butter. It's like his finger banging my eardrums. So
I think the point I was getting at was that take the money that you would probably spend on a new computer to get 60 FPS video, which isn't really relevant to this, but a lot of times people don't like 60 FPS, and spend it on, better audio. Or
I don't record in 60 FPS.
Yeah, no, because a lot of your viewers had said they can't really watch it, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of poor countries out there that don't have great internet yet, and 60 FPS video is still very hard to render on some slower internet speeds.
It takes a lot of like effort to do that. I record 1440 60 FPS because I have a system that does that, but it is not something I went out for. I just realized like, hey, I could do that. And this is like one of the examples of like, where is untapped potential? Like, oh, what could I do better now? And it is minuscule. I'm pretty sure it doesn't make the lick of a difference, but I feel better and I know I improved my content a little bit. I make that little bit of a difference, but it's the only things I can do. I can and try to rack my brain like, what am I doing wrong? I was just like, okay, what can I improve? And that's sound, that's video, and SEO especially.
And editing.
Yeah.
Editing is cannot be overstressed. I mean, Dre's channel, I think it really started blowing up once he started actually editing down his videos more and more concise.
Yeah, but you
spend like 2 to 3 hours, even more content, and then edit it down.
Yeah, generally, any video on my channel is usually 1 to 3 hours of recording, edited down to 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah. And it's not that I'm a good editor. I don't really do anything fancy. I just spend the time in a video, recording a video, to get those funny moments that I need. And the more time you spend, obviously, the better your video is going to be. You don't have to necessarily be good at editing to do well, because all I do is just cut and splice. That's I mean, I don't do anything else.
A good rule of thumb, which you can argue with me, that's a choice of style that I got from Lauren, actually, because she does really well edits. She does really nice round edits that feel fun. Sometimes she edits some of my videos, and basically what she does when she watches the video, and you should do that yourself. You should look at your gameplay footage unless you want an unedited version or want to leave some of the mundane stuff in there. You should look at the video if you want to make a funny moment and watch it, and if a cut or a scene is not necessary for like understanding what's happening in the game right now or is not funny, kick it. Like, you don't need it in your video anymore, unless, of course, it's a building game and you want people to understand it. That's why I'm saying if you need it for context, or if you want to go for a certain feeling, like if you play a horror game, you don't want to cut all over the place necessarily because you want to get that eerie feeling. Yeah, but if you do have funny moments, cut anything out that's not funny. And if that only ends up to 2 to 3 minutes, even though you recorded for 2 hours, well, then you got to record for 6 hours and then make a funny video. It's better to have one funny video a day or every few days than having 5 shitty ones every day.
There are many channels out there that do very well, taking a long time in their videos. You know, The Gaming Lemon, for example, puts out amazing content, but he only does lately he's been doing 1 video a month, 1 video a week, and he can do this full time doing that. So it's not like there's one set in stone way. There's channels that upload 4 videos a day. There's channels that upload 1 video a month.
Yeah, I mean, like, I look at all your channels to see things that work, and I think that would work with my audience. Unfortunately, I tend to look at one person at a time, and I feel like my content, as CTAP pointed out in the chat, was like, I have a real problem with inconsistencies in the style of content that I do, which is something I'm working on. But what I was going to say is that the most popular YouTuber is not necessarily the best type of content for you, and I think you were kind of touching on that. Like, I really like Total Biscuit, and I like his content, but even though I strive to do similar content, that may not be the content that works with my personality. I don't know.
Yeah. And that's the same way. I was the same way. Like, I wanted to be Total Biscuit. I love Total Biscuit. It's not me. And I have to deal with that.
You got to try, though. Like, there's an old saying. And
I tried.
Not only in graphic design, but in many, I think that applies to everything. That's where I first heard it, is copy until you make it, or fake it until you make it, basically. And what I take from that is that, yes, you're going to have a hard time finding your own style at first, or finding out what is like the best thing for you, where do you thrive the most. And you're always going to change. People change. Your style changes. But it's not wrong to look at someone's content that you enjoy and say, like, let me try to do something similar to that. And it might work out. It might be horrible. It might be super cringy, but at least you will learn something from that, like trying to create content like that. And eventually, from all of these things that you tried out, like Dre did, like, try many different things too. He did indie showcases. The only thing that it did, like, it helps him, like, to narrow down now what he wants to do, I think, and what to avoid, but also learned a lot from it.
Exactly. You're not going to hit it every time, but you're going to learn something at least.
Yes.
I mean, yeah.
And I had that recently. Sorry. I had that recently. I've been watching Ashens. Like, I binge. Sometimes I binge watch YouTube channels like crazy. And Ashens. And I really enjoyed his unboxings. I really got a kick out of them. They're fun. And I basically, like, somewhat copied that style. I mean, I put the camera in the certain way.
I I was watching a recent one of your videos, and I got a very iDubbbz vibe.
Yeah, I watched iDubbbz for like 7 hours 2 or 3 days ago.
Yeah, because
like,
you were doing the Zoom thing that he does.
Oh,
and
yeah,
I was like,
I love it.
Yeah,
it's fun.
No, it's great. Yeah,
and I love that. And so when people are in the chat, like, oh, it's very Weasel Dubs TV, and it's like yeah, and then you got to embrace it. There's nothing wrong with that because you look at Markiplier's videos and people do face cam and do similar style, or Jacksepticeye. Like, yeah,
everybody takes inspiration.
Or they do like a super low voice, thinking it makes them better.
Doesn't matter. I mean, even if it's cringy, but for me, I take the elements out of there that I like. Like, I don't necessarily, I wouldn't like swearing as much as he does, even though I laugh my ass off when iDubbbz does it. But that is not me. I'm not that kind of person. So that's not the part that I take. But I take, I really like that editing style, or I really like how he approaches that situation, and make it funny. Like, he takes this
throw shit everywhere,
for example, or he takes this unboxing and does something weird with it. And now I'm taking my unboxing, and the last thing I did was like do a drunk unboxing. I don't know what I'm going to do for the next. Maybe I'm going to eat habanero peppers while I open them, something like that. I just take the basic concept of like, let's make something funny with this happen, and they're not getting as many views. Talking about growth, this is not. Like if you do this is always a little bit scary, because you're going to do something new that people are not comfortable with. You might lose a few people, and you're going to have to push out content. Like the Ashens one, they didn't get a whole lot of views in the beginning. Now that I look back on them, the Ashen style videos, obviously, they've been doing well. 40,000 views here, 30,000 views there. They were completely different because it's a different audience. If you do different content, you're all of a sudden going to have a different style, different growth as well. So you can't compare one video against the other, and you have to work for a while until you establish a certain style on your channel. People are going to be like, what is this? When you do it 10 times in a row, they're not going to ask anymore, and they're going to expect that stuff now from you. So
I think another good mention is to not just like rapidly change to something else. Take it slow, keep your old content going, but if you want to try something new, throw it in once or twice a week, and consistently start adding more and more to that if you are enjoying doing it and it's doing well. You can't just, move from one thing or another. Yeah.
Get your viewers accustomed to it. Imagine you would watch The Simpsons one week, and the next week, all of a sudden, there were completely different characters. You would be like, what's happening now? I don't like this anymore, because where's the stuff that I got used to? They slowly introduce new characters. They slowly add new stuff to it. Every show does. You can't just all of a sudden have completely different things happening, a completely different style. You gotta slowly move towards there if you want to keep the same people.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to, this whole discussion, if you're listening, might seem like it's gone off topic. And maybe on the surface it has, but all of this stuff about finding your style, finding the type of stuff that you like doing, and stuff that you can consistently do is very important also for sustaining growth. Because people want to know that they subscribe to a channel, what they're getting. And if the style that works really well for you and the style that you like doing, it may not be the most popular style in the world. That doesn't mean every channel is not going to get 5 million subscribers. I think this sort of ties back to the beginning. Fundamentally, that's probably not going to happen. But if you find, and this sort of is a Northern Line thing, but if you find the style that works for you and that you like doing, you will eventually, you should find your audience that really, really likes your stuff. And will continue to grow in that particular market. And you might plateau. That might happen. But it's better than making a lot of content that no one really knows what your channel is about.
Yeah.
I mean, how many Five Nights at Freddy's channels are out there that are now slowly dying off? I don't know. I don't follow the whole thing, but a lot. There's channels that are based around the game. But that's the same thing with like
Call of Duty, Minecraft. There's a lot of channels that just stick to that and they go right to the death of it. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. If you want to make as much money as possible, as quickly as possible, you're going to do well that way. But for longevity, you need to move on. You need to, if you're a video game, channel, you can't just keep playing the same game. For example, like Ashens has been doing the same thing for 6 years now?
Yeah.
He can do that because he does unboxings on his couch. That never changes. The interest in Minecraft changes over the years.
Yes. And in a sense, his content is him. When you think about it, it's not. I don't really care about the boxes.
And that's what you want ultimately. You want.
I care about listening to Ashens say, "Wow, this thing is shit," or "It's bollocks," or whatever. His content is about him, at least the way I see it.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, a lot of comedy channels are about that. And you may subscribe to Draegast's channel because he's doing a game on the culling or Stranded Deep or something, but you may really like his personality and may follow him from game to game. If you have a Minecraft channel and you've been doing Minecraft for 4 years and you've done maybe one game else than Minecraft, and suddenly you start switching, you're not going to get any views on those videos.
And I think, before I forget this, a lot of channels expect when they do the switch, they're going to get as many views as they do with what they're doing good with. No, you're not going to get at all as good of views, but you got to keep going with it. You're not just going to randomly, pop up as doing just as well as you were with your Minecraft when you go over to, I don't know, Ark, for example. Obviously, your viewer base is going to be like, what the fuck is this game?
And just because you're not getting as many views doesn't mean you shouldn't do it.
Yeah, no, you need to.
You need to diversify.
Longevity.
Yes, you're gonna get discouraged by the comments as well. You're gonna see people writing like simple
YouTube's a
planes,
hateful
please,
place.
or 60 seconds. Like it died off now, but I got a lot.
I haven't
of
played
comments.
Ark in 8 months, and I get Ark every freaking upload. Play Ark. I don't want to play Ark. I'm not gonna play Ark because I don't want to. Shut up. Go away.
Yeah. That's the one game that I still haven't touched. I mean, maybe it might be good for my growth, but that's the point where I say like, I probably would not enjoy it. I don't care about the game. And on one hand, you can now say like, well, Weasel, what about the growth? You got to play those games for growth. Well, yes, but if you hate yourself doing it, then it's
play
not
what you
worth
enjoy. That's the ultimate thing.
And
if
really,
you're not,
like when it comes to finding the content that works for you, there's so many more things than just like what the viewer sees. There's so many things going on in the head of the uploader. Like for me,
you gotta show him.
For me, I have all the hardware I need. I have an incredible setup. There's nothing stopping me from making really great content except for maybe my environment or maybe my emotional or mental health or my diet or energy. Like there's so many things that can be why a YouTuber maybe isn't consistent or is constantly switching. Like there's a lot of things that go on in the background. And if you're someone who comments on a video saying, and I'm guilty of this as well, like, why don't you do this? You should be doing this because you will grow. Maybe they know that. Maybe there's more going on.
Guaranteed they know that.
Like the only person that really knows what's going on is the person that runs the channel. And you can't just say that the uploader is an idiot for not doing Ark or not doing the culling or the more popular game because they may have a different idea.
They might have a game plan, or they just don't like the game. That's the thing.
Honestly, usually the viewers don't understand YouTube. They don't understand growth, so they're not going to give you smart suggestions a lot of time.
You gotta show them something that they might enjoy. You gotta like, okay, hey,
you're the guy that finds the games for them.
It's your job to entertain them. It's not their. It's like backseat gaming. It's in the end, it's you who's doing the thing. And if you want to be a personality on YouTube, like they always say, like, well, we come for you, we come for your videos. Then you got to have that trust in yourself or in your channel or in your subscribers that they actually do come for you. If you only do one game, they will come for the game. Yes, but if you mix it up, they will come for you.
And just related to that, if someone says, love your content, but do this or this, don't listen to them because that's one person. You may have, if you have a really small channel, you have a really noisy sampling. I'll put it that way. If you have 1,000 subscribers and you get maybe one comment a video and one of them says, oh, you should really play this game, or I think your videos could be more highly edited or less edited or something. That's one person's perspective out of maybe 10,000 different people per month or something. If you have a really big channel and, if Draegast posts a video and about 5,000 people say, your audio's too low, your audio might be too low. But if one person comments on your video saying, this was really boring, but it has plenty of likes and has plenty of views, ignore him.
It's the person, yes. That is so true.
You need to learn to ignore the noise, basically.
That's an important thing about growth too. Yeah, as a good example, I did the Solus Project episode 1 and 2 and 3. I think I cut them really fast because I wanted to be fast with the game. I wanted to have it out, and then I did some really fast editing, and it were way too short cuts. And all of a sudden, I got all of these comments from people saying like it's too shortly edited. I'm getting a headache. It's too chaotic. Yeah, people told me like they got headaches watching it. It was way too fast. I don't know what I was thinking. So I toned it down, and that's good feedback. Like they weren't aggressive. But once you're growing, you're gonna, especially if you grow based on a YouTuber like PewDiePie, or let's say you play a game from another that has a young audience, and all of a sudden they're gonna see your videos and suggestion like, oh, hey, he's playing the same game. They might not be friendly. They might be horrible little brats
They
sometimes.
usually are.
Those are the most vocal, and they come over and say like, you're copying him. You're copying this guy. You're lame. This is not as cool as this guy. Just ignore him.
I usually throw that bait on your guys' videos.
Oh yeah, basically, yeah. It's comment bait. They want you to react to that, and when you grow and you haven't had experience with a lot of comments, like this sounds mean, but I stopped caring about insulting comments, and they hurt a lot when you're smaller, and they hurt like when you grow first and you get a lot of like bullshit, like you take it too hard. And it's not that I don't care about my people's opinion, but I can differentiate between people just coming to spew hate, and you get more of those when you get bigger, versus people that genuinely have a problem with your stuff. You got to grow thick skin.
If you're starting out, or even if you're not starting out, but you're in a position where you're growing and maybe you're starting to get more comments, there is a percentage of your viewers which will always be angry or mean, or they'll call you terrible things. And they will try, many of them,
Internet warriors, man.
without thinking about it, they'll say things that feel very personal. Like they're trying to talk about your character. But they have no idea who you are. So as you're growing, keep in mind that very few people actually know you. So
there's several
don't
ways
take anything personal.
Yeah. You can convert these people though. I know we're going a little bit off topic here, but because it's an important
a side effect
thing.
of growth, basically.
Yeah, you can convert these people if you have some. I had plenty of people that like you do a horrible commentary style, whatnot. Like my personal favorite is like, I hate commentary on video games. Like, what are you doing here? Yeah, I get those.
Go play the game
regularly.
then. Shut up, kid.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, why do you have to talk so much? I'm a video game commentator. Like, you can straight out ignore them. But there's some people that were like this commentary, I didn't like it, or they have some sort of something like that. You can convert these people if you like talk to them actually, and take them serious. Like, be the grown person here. Don't like flame them, or
don't be mean. Essentially.
Yeah, you can do that too, of course, if you don't like want to do that. But you can actually talk to them and convert them, and they can become your biggest fans if you talk to them okay, hey, thank you for letting me know your feedback, but this is my style and I like to follow it, but I really appreciate it, you taking your time talking to it. Yes, it feels a little silly, like someone just insulted you. But you can convert those people to good fans. It's just you gotta step away back from the comments, and they're directed. You gotta
be the bitch.
They're directed at your content. If they're directed actually at you, if they actually insult you, then just ban them. Don't let anyone insult you. You wouldn't accept that in real life.
When you don't have many comments, don't be afraid to ban someone from your channel. Because keep in mind, if I click on a video and all the comments are really mean, but I like the video, I might suddenly be convinced to not like the video. There's really subtle things about that.
Yeah.
And if someone's leaving a lot of negative comments, I don't mean hey man, your audio doesn't sound good. That's not negative. That's criticism. If someone says your commentary is really boring, that's leaning more into the negativity. But you may be boring. But again, don't pay attention to.
You may be boring to him, but you're not going to be boring to everybody.
Yeah, pay attention to if it's noise or not. But then if someone's literally saying you make me sick, could you stop posting such shitty videos? Just ban them. They serve no purpose to you, to your content, or to your viewers. They are of no value. So don't be afraid to do that when you're starting to get more comments as time goes on, because they can actually piss off other viewers. Really. You will get when you grow. You will have people in the comments replying on your behalf, and that's always a little bit tricky, because then you get on one hand you get engagement, yes, you get more comments, but there's going to be people arguing on your behalf, insulting each other, and
want to like grow a community based around that. You don't want to like people scroll down and see like hateful comments first. You want people to come there to have fun. At least that is my opinion. I mean, some people just don't straight up care or say like, yeah, let them do whatever.
Yeah.
That's the internet. I personally, I don't care. If someone insults me, I'm just deleting it. Like I literally don't care about their opinion. If they say you're an asshole, I was like, okay, I'm just going to hide you from my comments because I don't need this shit.
We went a little bit off topic there, but it's definitely, I want to reiterate that that will happen. Like that will happen. And that's a side effect of you getting progressively larger.
Oh, the MCNs. We got to talk. We got to take 5 minutes to talk about the emails you're going to get.
Immediately join the first one you see.
Make sure you join Broadband.
Broadband TV is a great one, by the way.
Or TGN. Or Machinima. Machinima is the best.
Oh, Machinima. Oh, or all these. You're going to get
but
all
seriously,
of a sudden,
don't.
Yeah, you're going to get an influx of emails. Yeah. And they're probably going to read something like this. Hey, we've been seeing your channel and we like the energy you put into your videos. Sometimes they're going to be like identical from different networks because they copy each other because they're ridiculous. They know
you want attention as well. They know you want they know you want respect with your channel, and just by saying, "Hey, I love your channel, yada yada, please join us." Some people, if you are smaller, you're going to say, "Oh, hey, these guys respect me. I'm going to go join them." Chances are they're just in it for your money. If they really, really want you, they will consistently come towards you and actually take the time to write out something that says, hey, they've actually been watching me and respecting me. That's the people you should be listening to.
I've only had one network do that, and that was Node.
I've had a couple, and I'm at, what am I at now? 670,000 subscribers. I've only had 2 or 3. And I get at least 2 or 3 MCNs every day saying, hey, join me.
Yeah.
No thanks.
So here's what you do. If they're sending you a comment, ban them from your channel. They're of no purpose. They're not watching your videos. Secondly, if they're getting it through YouTube messages, ban them from your messages. If you're getting emails, block them and set it up as spam so Google will flag them anymore. Those recruiters are they're spam.
It's cancer.
And a lot of MCNs out there, they give royalties not royalties, but they give a bonus to people who recruit. So sometimes they're not even part of the actual company. They're just people trying to gain an extra buck by recruiting you. They have no idea the legality behind it. They have no idea about the company. They just want to recruit you.
Yes. You pick your network and you should talk to other YouTubers and listen to their opinions, because chances are if a network writes you just a mail, I don't want to brush them over the same comb, but they are usually shit.
Every single one is shit. I'll do that.
We got an email recently, very nice, in a group conversation, 60 people.
Oh. I got that email, by the way, as well, but it was a different one.
Yeah, even my bird is angry. You don't need that. Join a network that you think comfortable with, and you do not. And it is 2016. People don't sign a 2-year contract anymore.
It's current year.
Don't do any contracts, I would say, but some people don't mind.
Yeah, you have to do a contract to a degree if you join a network, but
there has to be an agreement. But don't.
Don't do a time-based contract though.
And look, if you're given a contract you don't like, just don't sign it.
Yes.
Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with not having an MCN. Just going on your own, it's totally viable. Actually, it's probably the smart way. A lot of big channels do that as well. I just like the security of having my MCN behind me.
Yes,
plus, they also help me out with a lot of personal things. They actually care about me.
But yeah, when you're small, they try to get thousands of people and they try to sound impressive. They will promise you numbers. Just be aware, once you all of a sudden explode and grow, they will see you and they will try to snatch you away from the market. Don't let them. It's very tempting. You're the first time TGN contacted me, I'm like, wow, what? Really? TGN wants me to join? I made a video about it. I was so excited. I wanted to put the banner everywhere.
Oh my God. Was it TGN or TGS?
Guys, I'm kind of a big deal now. I don't mean to brag or anything, but TGN's hiring me.
Exactly. That's the thing that they make you feel like you feel as a big network. But it's
Did you know Obama's a TGN?
Yeah, I don't know. But it's ridiculous. And they take a big cut, so be careful about that. That's part of growing too. People want to try to take advantage. You will also have people asking you for collaborations all of a sudden more. Interestingly, it stopped. The bigger I get, the less it becomes, interestingly, right now. But it used to be a whole lot all of a sudden. And yes, some of them might be genuine, but don't feel bad to say no.
And that will just continue to go up and up and up. Like people even, Total Biscuit has even said he gets network invitations from like really small networks, and it blows my mind. I mean, I get like 3 or 4 a day. They come all the time. So yeah, ignore them. It's just again, it's one of the side effects of as you grow, and that's more popular these days than it was because it's so much more easy, or so much easier to make a network than it was a while ago. Like when I was partnered, or when I made.
Why don't we just make one, guys?
Yeah,
seriously.
Sure. That's what I want to do. I swear, we need to all like move to the same city, get an office. We'll be like a giant YouTuber building.
Perfect.
We'll do our own thing there. That'd be perfect. But
Sounds
anyways,
good.
like when I made my main channel right now, there were only like 5 networks. And for people who are going right...
And at that time, everybody wanted to join Machinima because it was the shit. It was amazing. And now look at Machinima.
Yeah.
So even if you are going to the prime ones, don't get stuck in a huge contract because things can change overnight.
I joined Machinima in January of 2011, and I got out of my contract October, to give people an idea.
Yeah.
Now, that was partially because of some contract issues, and they wanted me to re-sign something, and I was dumb at the time. But the point still remains, you can... without thinking about it, get sucked into something you don't want to get into. And think about, not to dwell on this so much, but again, with tying it into growth and capitalizing on it, think about, okay, I'm at 1,000 subscribers right now. You should plan for the future and don't think that, well, a year isn't that big of a deal because I'm only at 1,000 subscribers. You could be at 100,000 in a year if things are planned out properly. Do you really want to be at 100,000 subscribers with this shitty network? You need to keep the future open for how you may grow. And you want to be with a network that gives you some flexibility to move on to a better one, when you have the negotiating power. Say, hey, I want to change networks, or hey, I want to join your network. I have 100,000 subscribers and I get 5 million views a month. What can you offer me?
Remember, you're the one that they want. They want your views to make money with you. Like you got the goods. You're not like begging them to take you. I mean, some channels, networks will have a limit. Like Curse, like wants you to have like 1,000 subscribers, which, by the way, is a good thing. If a channel just MCN just regardlessly takes anyone, it's usually not the best sign.
Yes.
And I remember there was one of this. There's a ton now, but it was sort of like a key mailer type thing where you sign up and you get indie games, which there's like 300 released every hour. But it was this type of thing where you sign up and you have to have like at least 250 subscribers. And I remember this was on, I think, the subreddit. So, things are a bit biased here, but there was a comment that said something like, 250 subscribers. Oh, no, here's what it was. The guy was replying to a comment that said, really, 250 subscribers? And the guy that was running it said, well, 250 subscribers shouldn't be that difficult for someone. And there was a different guy replying to it saying, dude, I've been doing this for 2 years and I have 150. And while your particular situation may be that you're doing these videos and getting no gains or no traffic or whatever, the fact remains is that there are probably 1,050,000 subscriber channels. There's probably 100,500 subscriber channels.
Yeah.
But, as things move along, they're just trying to filter out, the noise of these channels. You can post a video on Reddit accidentally and gain a bunch of traffic and suddenly have a bunch of subscribers. So, don't think about it as like, I don't know, where the hell was I going with this?
I don't know. I just let you go, honestly. So
yeah,
I have no idea.
Sorry. I was just thinking about
That's
that.
fine.
Yeah. But don't feel bad that you're not growing. It happens. Like I had like 2 years where I literally was losing a subscriber a month, like net. Like I was not even plateauing. And right now I'm gaining 500 a month currently, which is pretty awesome.
Wow. Yeah, that's pretty awesome. Yeah.
So think about YouTube long term. If you can't commit to it, if you want to have full-time results, you have to put full-time time in, or full-time time in.
And there's nothing wrong with having fun with it too, just uploading and, not being too serious about it.
Yeah. If you want to actually grow, you have to put the work into it. Very, very few examples of people doing nothing and getting a ton of revenue and rewards out of it. It just, don't accept it as the average, because it's very much the diamond in the rough. If that's a good way to put it.
And don't look at the very big ones for like how growth happens, because that is also very distorted.
And don't look
view.
at them
It's
for
like-
inspiration either, because they can do whatever the hell they want. They've already grown.
Yes, exactly. It's like being a band, basically. If you're in a band and you just look at the superstars and like, oh, I'm gonna be a superstar too. Like maybe one day, but how about you actually look at the bands around you and your size with that fan base and see what they're doing, local. Because that is, you're gonna have to like
global.
Yeah.
And I don't know if there's actually a tool for this, but probably the best place to look would be for channels. Look for channels that are growing or increasing in growth. Like you can look at PewDiePie and say, oh, he has 50 million subscribers. He must be really good at what he does. But what you have to think about is he's done it for a long time, and all that growth happens.
He also got ridiculously lucky.
Exactly. And so, like, he may be doing a lot of things wrong. So you don't look to him to see growth, because he doesn't need to grow.
Or he's doing it right at his current situation and not right if you are starting out a channel.
Exactly.
For example, like playing a huge game like, I don't know, Call of Duty, let's just say it's still huge. As a channel with 1 subscriber, you're not going to get shit. You need to play these, indie games that nobody really knows about, that are FPSs as well. Once you grow enough to get into the Call of Duty, game and get into the high search rankings, then you go over to that.
Mm-hmm.
But again, at the same time, there's nothing wrong with starting out with something crazy huge as well. But just know that you're not going to grow as much as if you're trying to find indie games and, not fighting the whales of the YouTube market on these new games.
You need to temper your expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's a very good, description. Temper your expectations. Yeah.
Well, was there anything else you guys wanted to add to that?
Nah.
I feel like we covered quite a bit.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, there's a lot of tips in here, a lot of things to keep in mind.
A lot of real world examples. We've all been doing this a very long time, and I may not be at 500,000 subscribers. I know what to do. Just may not always get around to it, but these two guys know what they're talking about, because, both of you do this as your full-time job. You rely on this.
Yes.
I think very few people could do YouTube full-time and not know what they're doing. It's a rarity at this point. And I would talk about what games we've been playing, but maybe that would be revealing the secret for the upcoming weeks.
Well, I already kind of revealed my secret, but...
Well...
Yeah, I'm going to play that too.
I was thinking about
fun.
I was thinking about that phrasing, so thanks for ruining it. How to... but also because we've hit about an hour and 15, 20 minutes, something like that. So that is all from us. Thank you very much to Weasel and Draegast for joining me and contributing loads of stuff. Was there anything else you guys want to close with?
Bye.
That's good.
Don't ask for shout-outs. That's what I want to give them away with. That's not how you grow.
I would agree.
Yes.
People
That's
ask me for
all I need to say
shout-outs,
about it. Just don't do it.
And don't ask a small channel for a shout-out, okay?
Sub for sub,
Don't
man.
ask a
Sub
big one
for
either.
subs.
If anything, it's incredibly insulting.
Yes.
Because people look at me and say, oh, you have 11,000 subscribers, give me a shout-out. Like, I am struggling to get my own stuff watched by the own people that subscribe to me, so you can shut up. All right?
Get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out.
It is legitimately insulting.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I feel like
Can I get a shout out, Chris, by the way?
Yeah, of course. Shout out
to Crest.
Shout out to my boy Drebe for and Weasel for putting my face in everything. It's lovely.
Oh, your face. I love it. It's the best thing ever. It's the best thing since
My favorite
butter.
pastime now is going to Weasel's channel and looking for Crest's face. To be honest.
You should all do that. He's been doing that for the last few weeks now.
I think, yeah.
Putting my
the
face in
edited
thumbnails.
ones. I like to hide it in the well-edited ones. Every once in a while I forget it, but most of the time it's somewhere in there. My favorite one is Where You My Nipple. I like Where You My Nipple.
Single nipple or both?
Wait, I didn't see
single
that
nipple.
All right.
one. Oh man,
Solus Project episode 6. He's the nipple.
The solo
Good to
nipple.
know.
Solus
Yes.
nipple. Anyways, so I feel like we've covered a lot of ground. I think we have this is probably the best episode we've done. That's a really
You're
great.
welcome.
Thank you. I will give you
I'm such an asshole.
the 10 cents I think in revenue that these things get so far.
Will do. Sounds good.
I'm going to send you an invoice.
All right.
Yep, me too.
You're welcome.
Peace.
Or thank you, whichever. I don't know. Yeah, so thank you all very much for watching. Thanks again to Weasel and Draegast, and we will see you next time.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I heard that at the same time. So it just sounded like